Thank you for coming on. How are you?
I'm doing well, Asa. Thank you so much for making time to chat with me today.
Of course. The very first thing that I desire to find out is what pronouns do you use?
He, him, his.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Because I do not desire to misgender not one soul on earth at all. So
Thank you.
I believe that you have questions around 10K Society, correct?
Yeah, I just I saw the link and it immediately drew me to it. So I'm like, okay, I have questions. I need to connect with Asa right away.
I totally get that. So, in a nutshell, it's basic. 10K Society is based off what I do for a living, what I do for others. So, being the moniker that I go by is America's #1 entrepreneur coach. And what I actually do, not what I'm called, but what I do is I coach LGBTQ2 plus entrepreneurs on how to create their very first $10,000 in business authentically. Sometimes
Okay.
that looks like helping them create their next $10,000. But for most of the individuals that come, it really is their first $10,000 in business. And so the 10K Society, because what? I helped them create the first $10,000 in business. So it would only make sense that the 10K Society be a reality for the vehicle that will take them to that next level in their journey.
Okay. Okay. So I guess my question is how do I know that I'm ready for that in my business? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in my first year of business. How do you help me determine if I'm ready to take that step with you?
Well, we have a couple different ways. Number one, you can self-select. You can, if you say, Asa, yes, I know for a fact this is where I am in my business, and I tell you, well, these are the three levels of the 10K Society that are available to you. You can pick any one of those that you so desire, and so
Okay.
you can self-select, or you can have a conversation with me like we're having right now, and then we can say, okay, based on what you're telling me, this is what you desire. But it would be
Right.
based on what your needs are, not based on what my needs are.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
so if this is a good term, I can actually tell you the three levels of the 10K Society, so it may make a little bit more sense.
Yeah. 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 For sure. In
Okay,
fact,
good.
I'm gonna get a pen because I want to write this down.
Okay.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, so the first off, the 10K Society, the whole point of it is to serve you, to serve anyone that is an LGBTQ2 plus entrepreneur in their journey. And a lot
Okay.
of times I have felt and I have seen that so many of us don't know what it's like to be adored, cherished, loved, supported. We just don't know what that feels like. And so
Right.
this is going to have a high intention of serving you and others like you. So because we're going to keep service as our main thing, we labeled every single level based on that service. So the three levels are valet service, butler service, and concierge service. Again, we desire to be that that stand-in, that support buddy, that person that's going to hold your hand throughout all of this, so you don't feel like you're alone, like no one gives a shit. Like we are that person for you. So the valet service, what does it include? The valet service is the main thing that it includes is the access to the Genius Portal. What is a Genius Portal? So everything that I've talked about in my years of being in entrepreneurship, I'm 37 now. I started entrepreneurship at 22. It has resulted in and looked like everything from bringing the Shark Tank producers to the state of Oklahoma by myself. Like I was the only second entity, period, in Oklahoma to bring them. It looked like creating the Oklahoma Black Business Expo. It looks like being a decision maker within the Miss Universe pageant in the country of Belize. It has looked like creating 5 books, 5 published books so far, 3 of them being Amazon bestsellers within the same day. It has looked like creating the Proud and Paid Masterclass, which just ended, and having over 900 people register and over 600 people actually watch it. It looks like talking to hundreds of individuals and helping them with their businesses, regardless of the industry. So it doesn't matter if it's service-based, product-based, it does not matter. Business is business is business.
Right.
Also being a professional speaker, a professional international speaker, so speaking in Bahrain, speaking in Saudi Arabia, I know what that looks like and feels like and how to present yourself to be sellable in those ways. So because of all of that experience, I've actually done quite a bit of talking over the years, but what is the place where you can get all of that? Like all of that in one place, but not just YouTube videos of everything I've ever done. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're gonna get this hodgepodge of shit in a portal. No, you're gonna get actual video content from myself and others so that we're supporting you in every way. So I believe and I know that there are 5 pillars of a successful business. One of them is marketing. Next one, sales. Next, operations, followed by finance, and then finally accountability. I'll say that again: marketing, sales, operations, finance, and accountability. So within those 5 pillars, it's going to be very, very, very imperative that we go over every single one of those, because everything in business is going to be in one of those particular pillars, okay? Now,
Right.
the Genius Portal is, even though it has the 5 pillars and everything that's talking about those pillars, is set up in a way that is called the Genius Prescription System, or otherwise known as the GPS. The GPS does what? It tells you where to go. So it starts from bullshit, because what does GPS do? It takes you from BS to BS, bullshit to blissful success. So it talks about defining blissful success, dealing with your bullshit, and then finally you're over here and you are in this place of success. And now with this place of success, you can operate in a level of self-care. You can find out what's next for you. And you can also evaluate what happens and what needs to happen next. So I take you through those 7 steps within the portal. So in the portal, you log in and you have 7 modules. So you go through the modules. Now you don't get to the 5 pillars of a genius business, those, sales, marketing, operations, finance, and accountability. You don't get to that until you actually get to the blueprint section. The blueprint section is step number 5 of the entire portal. So when you get to module 5, now you're actually doing some things that will work for you, okay?
Okay.
So does everything make sense so far?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, great. So the other part of this is to, let me make sure I want to say what I want to say. How do I want to say what I want to say? Let me continue on the GPS. Inside this portal is everything you will need. Now, of course, we have the Queer Money Game. Like, we have that community on Facebook, but we also understand that not everyone is on Facebook.
Right.
So because of that, let's just be clear that we will have a community aspect to the portal as well.
Okay.
So whatever you need support in, you can get that support. So are you clear on the GPS version, on the GPS portion?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the portal. So you get access. Now, so valet service is month-to-month access to that portal. Now,
Okay.
something else that you get as a result of saying yes to the valet level is something called Genius on Demand. Genius on Demand is you saying, okay, Asa, I'm in the portal. It's really great. I'm happy that I'm in the portal. But now that I'm in the portal, I see that even though you're talking about this particular thing about marketing, so let's say I'm talking about email marketing, about how to do emails to your client or your prospective clients, and you're saying, but Asa, it feels like everything you're talking about is based on like the coaching industry or the intellectual the priority information industry. Like if you have somebody that has courses, but I'm over here selling jackets and I don't feel like you have something for me. Well, then I have 10 days to respond to your demand for genius. So think of it like Google for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but the beautiful thing about that is that it will expand the content of the portal. So if you tell me, Asa, I need something for email marketing for products, now when I add that, I'm not just adding it for you, I'm adding it to the portal. So because we have Genius on Demand, it's going to continue to expand. So this is a living and breathing thing versus a static culmination of information that just
Yeah, yeah,
stays
yeah.
in one place. Okay, so you have Genius on Demand. You also have access to the 10K Vault. The 10K Resource Vault is where all of the scripts and templates are. So, like, let's say in one of the deliverables in the module, I say you need to have a sales script. Well, you're like, okay, well, I don't have a sales script. Well, actually, you do. Just go to the 10K Resource Vault and everything's there. And what I did was I made sure that I separated all of the things in the resource vault by what? The 5 pillars of a genius business. So there's a marketing section of the vault, a sales section of the vault, so that you're not in there just looking to be looking and you just be
Right.
busy to be busy. So
Okay,
that's,
cool.
yeah, that's what that does. And then
That's a lot of value. If that's the first level,
that's the first
that's a
level.
lot of value there.
Yes, that's the very first level. So, and then also what you're going to get for the valet level is you're also going to get monthly telephonic um, coaching calls, accountability calls. Okay, so that means once a month you get to hop on a call and say,
With you?
it's going to be either me or one of the other team members within the Queer Money Activation team. So there is a Queer Money Activation team which will support you as well. And so we have coaches that will support you as well. Sometimes it will be me, sometimes it will be others, but I promise you, I do not put anyone in front of you that does not have the acumen, the years, the experience, the knowledge to support you where you are and where you're going.
Okay.
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 So you also have that. Now, one thing about me, I understand what it's like. I so understand what it's like to be on a coaching or accountability call. And it's like all these people. And you want to get on, and you're like, well, I don't know how to get on. I had to raise my hand and ask a question because it's like 500 people in here. And that's why we max the calls off at 25 people. So no more than 25 individuals will ever be on that particular call so that you can feel like, okay, there is a possibility that I can be seen, heard, and valued if I raise my hand, if I don't raise my hand. Okay.
And
So
how long are those calls?
those calls will probably be, no, not probably. Those calls, if people are engaged and ask questions, at minimum, they will be an hour. At minimum,
Awesome.
they can go
Okay.
up to 90 minutes. But if
Okay.
no one's on the call, then we can't say it's an hour because you aren't on the call. You have to do your part. So this
Right.
is a co-creative type of thing, okay?
Got it.
So
Okay.
that's valet service. Or is there any other questions about valet service?
No, I'm thinking I'm trying to figure out what else you could possibly add for that. Okay. All right.
Okay, so the next level of the 10K Society is the butler level, the butler
Okay.
service. So butler service is going to take everything from valet and expand. So where valet was, you get month-to-month access to the Genius portal. Now you're going to get 1 year. 1 year of access to this portal, okay? With this 1 year, you're also going to get monthly Zoom calls. See, valet is 25 people on the phone. With butler service, it's 10 people on Zoom, like we are now.
Okay.
Which will make it, now I get to see everyone.
I was going to say that's more interactive.
It's more interactive, it's more intimate as well. And that allows more of a mastermind feeling to it because it's less people. And you can start getting to know the people in your group, what they have going on versus what you have going on, and then possibly collaborate, combine ideas and things of that nature. You still get Genius on Demand. You still get access to the 10K resource vault. Now, one thing in addition to that is you get a live training every single month. Because let's just be honest, everything in business may not be in the portal. Like seriously, it may not be in the portal. So for instance, I or someone else may do a training and we may be, talking about a specific niche. So how to create your first $10,000 speaking internationally. And that would be a live training. Or something I just did, how to create a successful virtual summit that attracts your ideal customer. That would be a very specific class. But please note the recordings to those live trainings would then be accessible to those in the butler level.
So let me ask you this before we go on. Just so for me, I mean, I'm a millennial, but with computer stuff and going in and logging in and all of it, do you find that somewhat challenging? And I'm just being real.
No, I get
it. Would you say that like the process is kind of user friendly?
So the process is very user friendly. Okay. So the tool that we're using to deliver the content, number one, it's password protected. So you will log in with your name and your email. One thing about it, the tool that we're using is it will track where you are. So if let's say somebody came in, you had an emergency, you had to close your laptop really fast, and you just had to go. It stops the video where you last were.
Okay.
So it knows exactly where you stopped, and it knows exactly what information you already consumed. It knows exactly what information you haven't consumed. All that is being tracked. Also, the tool that we're using has an app. So we will give you the name of the tool. Once you sign on, you download the app and you can then learn while you're on the app so you don't need a laptop.
Okay, and really quick about the year subscription, does that year start from when you sign up or is it a calendar year?
So yes, your year will start when you sign up. So you don't have to feel like you are missing out or that you're gonna run out of time. When you sign up, you get that year. So one other thing besides the access to the vault that you're gonna get, I have felt like entrepreneurs sometimes they feel like daunted, that a particular task is daunting to get, and one of those things is getting interviews. So because we want your brand to expand, we know that the benefit of getting interviews, it's a great social win. You get to tell people what you're up to. People get to actually see you operating in your genius. And so we, on the butler level, the team and I, the Career Money Activation team, we book you on your interview, on one interview. We book you. We teach you what's needed, and then we book you. Okay.
Now, when you say you book us, are you booking us like with an outside organization, or is that something that's done internally?
So no. So some people might think, well, Asa, you have a podcast, and Asa, you have a show, and you're just gonna get on Asa's stuff. No, this is in addition to that. Now, of course, anyone at the butler level has the availability to get on my platforms, but this is something outside of myself.
Got it.
Because let's just be clear. I have a specific audience. If you're a plumber, If you're a makeup artist, your person that you're going to reach is not the people that I already have. We need to find
Right.
an audience for you. And so
Right.
we will do that for you on your behalf. So that's a done for you service within the Butler level. One other thing is we will create your logo.
Now, what if I already have a logo?
If you already have a logo, we can either give you another one, redesign it, but it's totally up to you. You have that availability.
Got it.
So you can use it or lose it. It's up to you. So that's the Butler service. Any more questions about
Okay.
the Butler service?
So, and I'm sure you'll cover this at the end, but my only question between the two, I know the valet is month to month,
Yes.
and Butler is annual. Now, for the
No,
Butler
so
level,
Butler, I give annual access to the portal,
got it.
but you get 6 months. You get 6 months. But for the portal, because I know that even though we've been together, we're going to do work together for 6 months, you may need additional support, and that comes.
Got it. So Butler is a 6-month program with
Yes.
1 year access to the portal.
Exactly.
Got it.
So now let's talk about concierge level.
I think I know. I'm like, okay, you just keep adding it. It's like, this is a lot of good stuff.
I'm glad you feel that way.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, I'm already thinking like, okay, like the valet sounded good until you talked about Butler, but then Butler started sounding good. So what is concierge giving?
Yes. So concierge is the place where I get to show up and show out for those entrepreneurs that are just ready. They are ready to do things quicker, sooner, and faster. I tell people often the whole reason why you have a coach is to accelerate what could be. Am I saying that you can't be successful without me? No, not at all. Because I had a coach tell me that once and it did not feel good. They literally told me, if you don't work with me, you will never make it. They verbatim.
Mess.
So I don't say that to anyone. I know that because there are a lot of things that you can consume. But with concierge, I get to really show up and show out. And so one way is that the access to the portal, lifetime access. Not a month, not a year, not 5 years, lifetime. And just so people understand what I mean by lifetime, I've already been in the coaching business since 2012. I'm not leaving. Like, I didn't just think about coaching yesterday and then thought about all this stuff. I've been doing this for a while. All right. And I have enough evidence and proof to what I've been up to in the world. So lifetime access to the portal. Now let's talk about the Zoom calls. So Valet's level, what did they get? They had monthly telephonic calls.
Right.
Bundle service had monthly Zoom calls. Concierge level, you have access to weekly Zoom calls capped out at 3 people. Just 3 people. That's it. So you talking about mastermind, that has a very significant mastermind feel to what's available, what's possible. Like,
Got it.
literally, okay? So I'm very happy about that. Like that, just that portion of it, like for a whole year. So you have 54.
So now this is a year. So the Butler was 6-month program, a year access. This is a year program with lifetime access.
Year program, lifetime access. And so you have 54 sessions. What do you think you can do in 54 sessions? And where somebody is saying, all right, last week you said, when we first started, you said, and it's month 3, what you doing? To keep you accountable to what's happening. Remember, that's one of the pillars of a successful business is accountability. And so accountability is infused into every single service that we offer, okay? So you have that. You also, of course, get Genius on Demand. You, of course, get Vault access. Now, the live trainings that the Butler received, You get everything that Butler got. So you want that, join in, you have access. But one thing that concierge does within a live context that everyone else doesn't, we're bringing to you live interactive sessions with $1 million earners. What that means, someone who has taken their business and scaled it to $1 million or more, we are putting them in front of you, and you get to hear from them how they did it, what steps they took, what did they do when it went bad, what tools they're using in order to do what? Accelerate the success that you're desiring for yourself. That's the whole reason why we're doing this. I say again, that's the entire reason why we are doing this, okay?
Right,
So
right.
you have the interactive session, and now let's talk about something that they get individually. So in the last two, the valet service and the butler service, there was no one-on-one interaction with me. That changes in concierge. I knew I was getting good at coaching when I was able to maximize one type of session that I am brilliant. One thing about entrepreneurship, you need to understand the results you provide and where your brilliance is, because you're not brilliant at everything. You're just not. You're not. But one thing I'm brilliant in is ensuring that people have a step-by-step map of how to create the revenue that they want. So what that looks like, somebody comes to me and says, Asa, I want to make $25,000. Okay, bet, let's do it. And the next 45 minutes to an hour is me saying, me getting clear, and then me saying, okay, here's step one, do this. Here's step two, do this. Here's step three, do this. So that by the time you leave, you have 3 to 7, it does do that range, 3 based on what the person is willing to do, not willing to do, what access to things they have. So 3 to 7 possibilities of how to make that particular revenue goal. So everybody in the concierge level gets an individual revenue session. That's what they're called, individual revenue sessions with me. Those will happen very early on. So in the first quarter of your year-long co-created program, all right? Now, here's some things that you're gonna get that are done for you. There are 3 levels of types of engagement or types of ways that people can say yes to content. DIY, which is you take the information and then you do it. So when you look at a YouTube video about how to paint a fence, you look at it and now you do it. But you're doing it yourself. And then there's something called done with you. Done with you is truly that. It means, okay, I'm gonna come over to your house and we're gonna paint the fence together. Either I might prime it and then you paint it. We both prime a section, we both paint a section, but you're not gonna be alone. But then you have done for you. Now, concierge is all about the done for you. So what are the things that you're gonna get done for you? You're gonna get a 4-page website. You will receive a logo, the same way the butler service did. You'll receive a brand board. A brand board is significant when it's time to talk about your particular brand, so that when you give a graphic designer, tell them you need a flyer done, they already have your brand board. With a brand board, they can do things quicker, sooner, and faster. Okay? So they have that. Then you will also have a media kit. A media kit is imperative to getting more interviews. And besides, so you have a media kit, and the next thing that you'll get 2 interview placements. Butler had 1, you will get 2. Again, not including my platform. If you want to be on mine, then that's great. You're welcome to be a guest, but not mine. Also, a dedicated graphics manager. So let's say we're talking about you are going to launch a program, a product, a service, And we already know that because why? We understand your business model. And so with your business model, we know when you're going to launch a program or a product, okay? And it's going to be in the future, not tomorrow or next week. There are certain things that have to happen. And so with that being said, you need graphics. Social media is real. Even if you're not on social media, graphics for the website, graphics for the emails that go out.
Right.
A dedicated graphics manager to do all of that for you. So even though I understand you can do it yourself in Canva, which is a great tool, we will have tutorials in Canva, not a problem. But let's just be honest. If you're not a graphic designer, who wants to do that?
And you know what? It's so funny that you say that, because I have found that I've been spending a lot of time doing things that, one, I'm not necessarily good at, or two, I just have no interest in, for that very reason. Like, I'm not a graphic designer, and for someone who has expertise in that, they could probably do the flyer that takes me an hour and a half, probably in 20 minutes, I'm sure. And so, and that would free me to do what I want to do and what I like to do.
Exactly, because we're not desiring you to be a COE, we're desiring you to be a CEO. And what is a COE? Chief of everything.
No, I don't want to do that.
No, we don't want you to be a chief of everything. We want you to be a CEO, Chief Executive Officer. If you are a Chief Executive Officer, you are holding other departments, other divisions accountable to the things they need to do to make sure that the vision is moved forward and what accelerated, okay? So with the graphics manager, why else is this going to be important? Because one other thing that's going to happen as a result of saying yes to the concierge level is you're going to get a book. I say again, a book, not an anthology, a book, meaning we have individuals within the Career Money Activation team that will help you get clear about what book you need to assist in your brand development. So it's not an arbitrary book. So it's not a memoir. It may have a memoir function, but this is to move your brand forward. And so making sure that you know how to do that, making sure that the book is properly edited, properly formatted, that the design cover does not look like shit. Like, honestly, like, it doesn't need to look like shit. I have books in Walmart right now. My books were not able to be in Walmart if my books look like shit, like point blank period. And so we need to make sure we do that. But we have individuals on staff to ensure that. So as a result of saying yes at the concierge level, that's a thing now. You will leave this program with a book. And I repeat, not an anthology. So you're not going in with everybody else who said yes, and then you have a chapter. No, you have a book. But everything that we're teaching you is going to make a difference, because you're going to know how to market the book, sell the book, have the operating system for the book, be knowledgeable about the finances of the book. So everything you need, you're getting that information from. So that's everything within the concierge level.
And what's so crazy about that, and I can't wait to talk to you more about it, is I have like, what I like about the concierge is that it's all in one. Like, for example, like right now I have one person that kind of like that built my website. Then I have another person that was helping me get my book. So like literally all of the stuff that you're talking about is stuff that I already kind of have wheels turning on. Right. But I think it would be so much better to have it in one place than having to do all of these different things with all of these different people.
Exactly. And we get that. I get that. I know what it's like to feel like you are stressed the hell out just from all the moving parts, talking to all the moving people, and also the financial commitment that it takes to do all of it. Because when you're
That's the thing.
A website, if you talk to certain people, a website will run you $2,500 just for the website.
Yeah, and that's not with 4 pages.
No, The book, if you're talking about somebody, people can read, people, you can send your manuscript out to people and they will say, I love it. We want to publish it. We are going to charge you $5,000 for us to publish the book. See, a lot of people think in the publishing world that people come to you, they see your manuscript, they get it, and then they come to you and offer you money. That's not always the case. Sometimes it's, we will publish it, and this is what we will do for you, and this is how much we will charge you. And so being an entrepreneur, being an author since 2012, because that's when my first book came out, was in 2012. There are so many things that I have seen, learned, heard, experienced from that. So I know what it's like to speak to a packed out room. I know what it's like to be flown to a different country. I know what it's like to sell all of my books before I leave the room I just spoke in. That was standing room only at a university with college kids, not the faculty. The college kids wiped me out of books before I left the room, and then got mad at me that I didn't have more books. But I had just started. I didn't know. I didn't know.
Right.
I prepared for failure, not for success.
Right. So let's do this, because listen, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the financial component for me. I know that might not be that same way for everyone. So can we talk a little bit about what the investments look like?
Most definitely. And let me just be clear. Money is a conversation that is a divine conversation. It is a mature conversation. So there's nothing bad that comes up when I'm telling you, because I understand the value of something. That's it. That's all this is. And so let me make sure I let people understand. The way I set up the enrollment fees for valet, butler, and concierge is based on the acceleration. So how soon do people desire to make that first or next $10,000? And when? So sometimes people don't want to make, sometimes people want to make the first $10,000 this year. And sometimes people are like, Ace, I need to make $10,000 this month. So you have everything, people who want to make $10,000 in a year, people who want to make $10,000 this month and every month thereafter. So that's where I came up with the pricing, and also living this. I know I know what the investments have looked like over time. So without further ado, the valet level is $88 per month. So every month, $88. Someone did come to me when I was putting this all together, like, well, Asa, what about those individuals that may not have the $88 a month altogether, but they could do a week? Like every week they can like hustle up that money. And I understand, even though I'm not at the hustle mentality anymore, I used to be a go-go dancer in Southern California. Like, I know what it's like to be on food stamps, and not my mama's food stamps. I'm talking about my own. Like, I know all of that story. And so I understand what it looks like being able to do $25 a week. And so that's where I place valet at. So you have the $88 a month, or you can do $25 a week. Every single month, no contract. No contract. When you are complete with the experience, we are complete with the experience. That's it.
Got it.
That's totally it. We'll reach out, of course. We're going to reach out, but when you're done, we're done. It's cool. No issue.
Got it.
So the butler service, remember, it's a year-long access, 6-month opportunity, $2,500. $2,500 for that.
Now, do you pay that all up front?
So the $2,500 for 6 months, you can pay all up front, or we split that and you can pay it within 2 quarters. So with 6 months, you're gonna get 2 quarters. So we split that in half. So I believe it's like $1,300. My math may be a little bit off, but if you go to the website, it has a breakdown on the website.
Well, that's good, just so that it breaks up that option. Okay, cool.
Yes, we break up the option, because we understand people might be like, yes, 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 but may not have everything all at once.
Right.
So next we have the concierge level, and the concierge level is $20,000. Why is the concierge level $20,000? Number one,
Because you get a website, a book, you get the manager, you get the logo, the brand board, the media kit, the interviews, the 3 to 7 the revenue sessions, the Zoom, all of that.
you get all of that. So if you think about this, if you continue doing business alone by yourself, how much would it cost you? How much would it cost not knowing what to Google? Because some people are like, look, I'll just Google it. But I'm like, there are certain points in your business journey that you don't even know what to Google. Literally, you do not know what to Google. And that's a significant thing, a significant issue when you're talking about accelerating quickly. So now with the $20,000, you can pay all that all up front. Or we have split that up into quarterly payments. So that looks like $5,100 payments for every quarter. Now, can we break that down further besides the $5,100? It's possible, but I would have to talk to that person one-on-one and find out exactly what their needs are, what their financial capacity and their level of internal commitment is in order to support them in that way.
Right.
So I can do that. I can definitely have that conversation if people desire to. But so it is available, but for the majority of individuals, it's either the $20,000 or it is the 5,100 for every quarter.
Quarter. Okay.
And so of course, because if you pay quarterly, you're not going to get everything in one quarter. We're going to then spread out the deliverables that we owe you over those quarters.
Right, based on your payment schedule.
Yes, we will do that payment on your payment schedule. Now, please understand that for valet service, we got y'all. We don't care how many people come in, everybody will be supported. Everyone will feel heard, valued, seen, point blank, period. Butler service, same thing. We got you. Not a problem, no capacity. This concierge level, 20 people, that's it, period. I don't have the capacity because you got to remember, I am now included into this, my individual time. And there are other projects that I am also continuing to work on. And to ensure that everyone on the valet level and the butler's level feel as though that don't feel that because they paid another amount that somehow I don't care about them. I will not allow that to happen. So
How can you, like, say, just hypothetically,
yeah.
say, what Asa, this sounds great. I want to start today with the valet level. So let's say I do that for a month and I'm like, wow, this is really good. And I want to switch. Like Asa, the valet level was cute, but now I feel like I'm ready to move up into the butler level. Is that something that we can do as well?
That is something totally that we can do. Most definitely. And then what my commitment is, if it's requested, we can even take the money that you spent on valet up until that point and apply it to the butler level. So if you paid $88 and now you want to get into butler, your new fee is like $2,420.
Right.
18, something like that. So we can definitely apply it. Same thing with butler going into concierge. You're like, hey, so I paid for butler, but now I'm ready for concierge level. Okay, so let me check if we have the openings. So we have an opening. Okay, so $2,500 you paid, we're gonna apply that to the 20,000. So now you are 17.5.
Okay,
that's ready for that.
You like this, Asa, you have created something, because I'm just going to be very real. Like when I came into this, I was just like, because I recently worked with a coach and went through the program and went through the mastermind part and got everything that I could get from that.
Great.
And it was crazy because she had a conversation with me and was like, you need a different coach now. Because she said everything that I could give you, I've given it to you, and you've received, and you've done that. And now it's time for you to go to the next step in your, in your coaching. And at first, like, I felt kind of weird by that because I was like, am I getting fired by my coach?
Almost like abandonment.
Right, but it literally was, no, I see something and I know my capacity is this.
Right.
You this direction, you need to align with a coach that does this. And to be quite honest, that's why I wanted to, why I was, attended the master class and all of that, because I want to work with someone who not just understands me in terms of the lifestyle that I live, but to be quite honest, for me, it's important to work with someone that looks like me. Because the same or similar challenges that I will have as a person of color. You know what I'm saying? And then to add being part of the LGBTQ plus community. So I think that this is great. Like, I honestly feel like there's a level for me, and I'm excited to see what that is.
Okay, great. I'm totally, please know that I am totally here for your next, whatever your next is. Right now, at this current moment, we are, of course, this is an enrollment period. So depending on when someone may be, finding out about the 10K Society, not every single option is going to be available. Like,
right.
Not every option will be available, and that's okay, because because in business, you have to begin to understand that things are based on systems. And so putting a system in place, and so we have a launch system, we have an enrollment system.
Right.
You just may not be able to do every single thing you want to do when you want to do it, because there's a system and there are reasons and whys about how we do things. So depending on when someone knows about this, it's available to them. I desire for everyone to check in on their capacity to be served, on their capacity to be held accountable, on their capacity to implement a high level of action. What I don't desire is for people to come to the 10K Society and be like, okay, I paid, now I'm gonna sit back and wait for you to make me rich. That's not what the 10K Society is. The 10K Society is the entity that will hold your proverbial hand, so that as you are doing this, you can do this no longer having to feel afraid, no longer having to feel shame around just not knowing, and so that you can do things in a more excellent way to actually be somebody in your industry, whether it's a retail industry, makeup industry, self-help industry, coaching industry, product and services industry, hospitality industry, it doesn't matter, but you need to let people understand you're here now.
Yeah.
And that's what you're here to do.
Listen, Asa, this is good. This is good. I'm over here working out calculations right now. I'm like, because when I come to you and say I'm ready, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it's about being honest with my financial capacity and the capacity of which I want things done for me, and what action I'm willing to take. So, this is great. I thank you for your time. This is awesome.
And I thank you for yours too. And please know that regardless, if you see me online, you can still say, hey, and I'm gonna say, hey, back.
Oh, I sure. You know I don't mind.
Like regardless. So yes, thank you for
Awesome.
your time. I so appreciate you. Whatever you need to move forward, let me know how I can support you in your yes. I definitely desire to support you in your yes. Just let me know, and have a great rest of your day.
Awesome. Thank you, Asa.
Most welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay.